Welcome to the Great Girlfriends podcast, where we discuss life, love, laughter, and everything in between. We're your hosts. I'm Sybil Amuti.
And I'm Brandis Daniel.
And before we jump into this week's episode of the podcast, make sure you sign up for our newsletter at
thegreatgirlfriends.com.
And don't forget to leave us an amazing iTunes review.
Yes, that is the payment for listening to this podcast.
I love it. 5 stars all the way. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Hey, great girlfriends.
Hi, great girlfriends.
Happy summer.
What's going on? I've been waiting for this.
Girl, this weather is everything.
Waiting for this.
Everything. Oh my
best.
gosh. Like, New York in the summer is my absolute favorite.
I don't know why people run away from New York in the summer. It just always, I'm like, why are you leaving?
It's the best. It's the best. Great girlfriends around the world, we hope you're enjoying a beautiful summer. We sure are. High as a kite off of the fun we've been having out here in these great girlfriend streets.
Yes.
Just a happiness high. So happy and so grateful for the summer fun. I mean, it's just been great. New Orleans is always a treat.
I can't wait. New Orleans is amazing.
Yeah. So our next, wherever our next adventure takes us, it'll be fun.
We're excited. It's good.
Yeah. So what's going on, Brandis? Or should I call you Brandice?
Let's see.
Even though you've told people.
You can call me Brandice.
Oh, you like the Brandice better than Brandice?
Fancy. It's kind of French and fancy. No, call me Brandice.
What's going on, Brandis?
Well, let's see. I just came off the designer retreat.
Hey.
And that was incredible. Mm-hmm. Getting ready to see my little munchkin I haven't seen in a few weeks.
Aww.
And that's it. I'm trying to get some last minute things ready before she comes back to New York. Trying to clean out her toy box and
Oof.
I know, girl.
You gonna do that without her?
Yeah. She does not look at the bottom of the toy box. She has no idea what's in there.
Yeah, but all the stuff she's been looking for is at the bottom.
Well,
wait till you find it missing. You let me know how this goes.
I'll let you
Sky,
know.
if you're listening, I have a room for you in the basement, just for you, with all your old toys. I went and got them for you, and I put them in the basement. Oh my gosh, shame on you.
Girl, it's about to get cleaned out.
You have to give her a graduation clean out, where you swap out the old and replace it with the new.
We'll see. I'm trying to just swap out the old and not bring in any new.
Well, quietly kept. Dylan just got rid of her kitchen she's had since she was 2, and she's 7.
Oh my goodness, we should have passed
girl,
the kitchen
all that
over.
snot and nastiness on that kitchen. You don't want that. You need shots to get that kitchen in your house. That kitchen is disgusting. It's like she really cooked in it and left stuff. I was like, oh my God, so wonder we don't have roaches. She's been trying to cook in it. And it's 5 years old.
Oh my goodness.
So we happily threw that out. Her shopping basket,
that is
all of the old stuff. We
girl.
Just said bye-bye.
That's hilarious.
She's like an old hoarder. If you go up in her room, you'll be like, what are you going to do with this, Dylan? And she's like, oh, my doll's going to do blah, blah, blah.
She got something for everything.
She has everything, and she remembers where everything is. So you can't necessarily. That's why I say you about to catch yourself out there in the streets throwing her toys out.
I know, but I have to, girl. I have to.
We read a book, the ABC book, and Sky was looking for Sophie.
She sure was.
Sophie had been missing for months. So just so you think she's forgetting about her toys.
So great girlfriends, funny story. So Sybil goes, I'll go help you find Sophie. So they go upstairs. Sybil, I don't know where you found Sophie. I guess she was in a toy box. So later on, a week later, there was something that Sky was missing, another toy. She goes, it's okay. Auntie Sybil will find it for me. And I'm like, what is she, the fixer?
She knows.
The fixer now.
I will find it for her.
What you been up to, girl?
Enjoying these kid-free weeks of goodness. I love my babies, but I also love full adultization. That's a new word.
Here's the thing. Why do we as moms feel like we have to
say
that apart? This time since Sky been going, every time I'm like, oh my gosh, we live in our best life. Sky is in Memphis. I feel like people are looking at me like,
right?
Where's the other part of the
mom shame?
Where's the other part of the statement in that? I miss my baby. But I'm like, actually, me and Rich are having a really great time.
Right.
Why do I have to say I love Sky? Everybody knows I love Sky. But as a mom, we feel like we have to go. Moms, great girlfriends, you're listening to me in the car or wherever. I know you guys are shaking your head, saying yes, because it's like, well, I'm so glad my baby gone. I mean, I love her to death, but why do you gotta put that in there?
Because of mom shamers.
Right.
Mom shamers are like, It's the unspoken judgmental eye that you feel coming. Or if a nana or a G-mama or a grandmama happen to be listening, they're like, there she go out there.
Right.
And they always think that when you're by yourself, you're supposed to have an extra kid. Why am I supposed to go get pregnant? Like, I'm dropping off kids. Why would I go create an extra baby when I just dropped my 2 off?
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. So I'm enjoying these adult streets, and I'm like kicking back and eating and enjoying kwaku and dating.
Good.
Just
dating
us.
is so nice.
Building castles in the sky.
Until you look at that
to the bank account. Woo! I tell you what, that 5 courses, they add up. Whoa!
I told someone earlier, we were looking at some expense stuff for the great girlfriends, and I was looking at my account and all these date nights me and Rich have had. I'm like, wait.
We will be eating in for the next week or so. Right. I'm telling you, it adds up. So maybe they do need to hurry up and come home.
Yeah.
But anyway, summer's amazing. Life is good. All is well. And great girlfriends, we've got a really great message for you. Pastor Brandis has been in her study.
I've been in my study.
She's been preparing a message for you today. One that we are particularly excited about because I think it's a life changer. So we haven't said this in a while, but do grab your pen and paper.
Do grab your pen and paper. One of the reviews from the conference was that they wish they had brought pen and paper. So I think going forward at the conference, like, we need to provide pen and paper because she said there were so many notes she didn't get to take.
She didn't get to take her notes.
Yep.
Oh, great girlfriend. I'm sorry about that.
All good. So I was looking on Sybil's shelf, and there was this book that jumped out to me. And there was this chapter in the book, and it was called When Fear is in the Driver's Seat. And I said, oh, my God, Sybil, we need to do a podcast on that. Because I think for so many of us, fear is in the driver's seat when it comes to so many different things. And there are so many things we're not even willing to look at, have a real look at, because we're afraid of what the reality is. But the only way you can really move forward is to face the reality of whatever it is. Or, even if you're not facing a reality, really deciding that you're going to lean on faith more than you are fear, and that faith is going to be what's in the driver's seat. So maybe this episode should actually be replacing fear with faith.
Which is the only way that you're going to counter, you'll counter your fear is by putting your faith in the driver's seat.
Absolutely.
But there's a bridge of taking action, right? Because you mentioned, when you're avoiding, most of the time when we fear something, we fear we're not going to be enough, we fear not going to be loved, we fear rejection, we fear something bad happening. Yeah. Or we fear consequence. Yeah. Consequences that we may already be paying, like, for example, not looking at your bank account for months because you're afraid of your overspending, but you've been overspending because you ain't been watching your money.
And you have to look at it.
And then you look at the numbers and they confirm all the things that you've been diving into.
Right.
And you have to counter those things by stopping or starting something different. But like you said, that when fear's in the driver's seat, I think what happens, when I remember times when fear was in my driver's seat is I almost pushed away abundance. I pushed away opportunity. I pushed away open doors. I pushed away people who were resources for me. Resources, sounding all French. You hear me? Resources.
Yeah. But I kind of liked it.
You liked it?
I was like,
or resources. But no, I pushed away so many advantages.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I isolated myself, and I told myself that because there were no advantages around me, I was disadvantaged. I was disqualified from doing whatever it was that I really, truly was qualified to do. Not realizing until I was bold enough to face my fears that it was all an optical illusion.
Yes, absolutely. And sometimes I had a situation come up recently, and Sybil was my safe space for that conversation, and it was not the easiest business situation for me, but there was a way for it to be handled, and there's a way for everything to be handled, because one of the things that God told me was, Brandis, I'll always give you a way of escape. Like, you know, I'll just look for it.
Yeah,
you'll always have it. And I looked for it and I found it, you know? And so I think that sometimes we're so afraid of the world even, and we don't even understand that how much power we have and how we're already overcomers. And, you know, you will just be surprised at how God will work and the things he will do and the answers he will provide, and how he will cover you. And sometimes I think, you know, especially, and I know great girlfriends, we have great girlfriends of all faiths, but I know that sometimes as believers, we are so afraid of the world. We're so afraid of what the world can do to us, not knowing that God already has us covered and that he's already provided the way. And we just have to be bold enough to ask him for what that way is, seek wise counsel, which is why I called my great girlfriend Sybil, and just do the thing that we think is the hardest thing to do, which in the end, it's not actually that hard. Like, it's, I don't know, like, God taught me so much through that situation, in that you're afraid of something that should be afraid of you.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times we're afraid of something that should be afraid of us.
Yeah.
Because we don't realize how much favor we have, how much power we have, how much influence we have, until we exercise it.
Yeah.
And so we're cowering, right? Sitting in a corner cowering from things that we have dominion over.
Complete dominion over.
You know?
Isn't that amazing?
And if we could just understand our power and see our power, and that won't be, I'm sure, the last thing that I have to deal with, but God just showed me in that I got you. Like, I have you. And you know, and I just think sometimes we miss out on so many opportunities. We don't even go for certain promotions or go for certain opportunities because of the bad thing that could happen.
Right.
Or what if I get in this position and these people say this about me, or they find out that about me, or, you know, like all these like things that we make up in our head that's coming from a fear-based mindset versus a faith-based mindset.
Absolutely. And I think what happens too, we sabotage so much, right? Because when fear is in the driver's seat, I think we start to look at our allies as enemies. We start to think that people are always going to take from us, that they're going to extract what good we have, so we withhold.
Right.
So ultimately, we hold on to the penny, missing the chance to go after the dollar.
Yeah.
Because we feel like if we show anybody our hand, they're going to take that hand and run with it. And so I think sometimes we have to look at that. And I can remember many years ago, well, not that many actually, years ago, when I had to walk away from what was going to be a very lucrative business deal with not another opportunity at hand, just knowing that one wasn't right. And I was afraid to do it initially because I thought, well, this is an open road. I can just ride this road all the way to the promised land. But then God was giving me a preview of all of the compromises I would have to make along the way. Well, they're going to ask you to do this. They're going to want you to represent this. That's not what you represent. They're going to want you to say these things. They're buying out rights to things that you own. You know, you're going to have to pay back this in legal fees. The percentages are not going to add up. But it looked like a big opportunity because it was a larger company that could definitely put eyes on the project that I was working on. But it wasn't going to be lucrative for me in the long run. But when fear is in the driver's seat, you look at those things and you think that you're going to be at a disadvantage if you don't jump on the first wagon.
Absolutely.
You know? And then especially as entrepreneurs, a lot of times when fear is in the driver's seat as an entrepreneur, you feel like the world is so big and you're so small. So you start to second guess your ability to offer anything new or different or anything that's of value, anything significant, because this is a big C, right? And somebody's already done that. So why should I introduce my new brand or my new product or my idea when some people are already doing these things?
Yeah.
So then you start to question your DNA, your identity, what's on the inside of you, what you're capable of,
Absolutely.
and the differences that we each make. And so I think this subject is so important because our community, Great Girlfriend community, is a huge entrepreneurial community. So many of us are bursting at the seams with brilliant ideas. So many of us want to have very passionate relationships, but we are afraid because of Bobby, Willie, Earl, or Keith, or Frank, or whoever.
Right.
You know, whoever he was. So we're afraid, you know, of putting ourselves out there and being vulnerable again for fear of being hurt.
Yeah.
But you know, I think we're in a space now where I would stop looking at what I have to lose and look at what I have to gain, right?
Yeah.
Because honestly, if fear is in your driver's seat, you're always looking behind you.
Yes.
You're looking at what you already lost in the past. The loss is not in
Yes.
front of you. Nothing's happened.
Yes.
So you're looking at an open road, but you're looking in the rearview mirror, and you're creating all these pitfalls and landmines that aren't even in front of you.
Absolutely.
And then you're dodging opportunities to really be connected with people and places and things that can add great value.
It's so true, Sybil. I was even thinking that even in marriage, right?
Child.
Like, the thing is sometimes we don't want to be fully vulnerable because there's still a chance of being hurt in some way, even if it's just our feelings are hurt, right? And so that's a place where you really constantly have to readjust and say, okay, I'm coming from a place of faith, not fear. Not fear that I'm going to be this vulnerable with you and then that's going to backfire on me in some kind of way. So there's always this something that wants us to not believe the best. For whatever reason, we default to the worst thing that can happen instead of the best thing that can happen. And I love that you brought up even business, because I think sometimes when you are coming in, when fear is in the driver's seat, you start taking opportunities that aren't meant for you to take, or you're afraid to walk away from opportunities that have run their course.
Right.
You know, and it's okay to do both. It's like, I'll never forget the first year I had at HFR. There was a brand it was a magazine who wanted a brand to sponsor me. And it was like a beer brand that I didn't even know what beer brand this was. And they had said they were going to build out a whole runway for me that was going to be like totally like logo of this beer company all over the runway. And all I could see in my head was something that looked like a wrestling match, right? Not a fashion show.
That is hilarious.
Seriously.
I can see that.
And I was like, the more he started talking about what it was going to be, I was like, oh my God. Like, this is not what I envisioned for my brand. Which, by the way, my brand wasn't even a brand yet. It was a thought of a brand. And they were going to give me $3,000. And I didn't have any money. And I was just like, I remember that was one of the hardest calls I ever had to make, like that first year. Basically call him and say thank you, but no thank you. And I remember him being like, really? Like, we're going to give you $3,000. It might have been $3,000 or $3,500. And it was a poppin' magazine at the time. And it would have given me so much visibility so fast. But I just did not feel peace about it.
Yeah.
Like, there was nothing about that I felt like represented where I wanted this brand to go. And I didn't even have a full vision for it yet. But I knew that wasn't it.
Right.
And and so you're right. Sometimes it's like being able to walk away from that, because had I branded that first event like a wrestling match, you know, like, that way, you know, who knows what would have happened year two, a year. You know, sometimes you get taken in places and direction and you don't even know how you got there because you follow one wrong open door, and before you know it, you're down. Like, the good news is you can walk back out through those doors. Okay,
so sometimes it's a long walk.
If you've even gotten there, it's okay. You can actually, like, God, His grace. His grace is sufficient for you to walk right on back out those doors.
Right.
And So it's okay to turn down things.
Yeah.
When you're working from a faith-based perspective, I like what you said too about abundance.
Mm-hmm.
When faith is in the driver's seat, all you see is abundance. There's abundance of opportunities, resources. There's an abundance of everything for you. And that's how you know. Because when fear is in the driver's seat, you have a scarcity. You don't think there's enough of anything. Yeah. I got to make this decision because what if it don't come again?
Right.
People saving stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
This is the last. I don't know how much
I'm gonna save this photo because this is such a good photo. I'm gonna save it.
Yes,
like as if, are you not gonna ever go on a vacation again?
And that's it's one thing to enjoy a moment and bask in, it's another to commemorate it like it's the last. There's two different things.
They always want to save stuff.
It's two different things. I think about, when fear is in the driver's seat, you start and stop all the time.
Yes.
If you find yourself, great girlfriend, starting and having to stop, and starting and having to stop, or putting it on pause, and in your mind, you're like, I got to put these things on pause because of X, Y, and Z, A, B, C. I want to challenge that mindset, because that stop a lot of times is you feeling prohibited by a circumstance and saying, hold up, I'm getting afraid.
Right.
Something's kicking into gear to tell me to pause on something.
Right.
Versus when faith is in the driver's seat, you push through. It's not like it's going to be as fast as it was when you got out the gate, but you're going to push through.
Absolutely.
You're going to turtle. You're going to crawl. You're going to drag.
Absolutely.
You're going to kind of find your way through because you're looking at the long-term vision of what's at the finish line. And I don't really want to put a timeline to this finish line. I just want to get to that finish line.
Yeah.
When you have fear in the driver's seat, you're like, I got 6 months to make this brand new idea, shiny brand new idea, this baby, a six-figure brand.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't do that, then I'm going back to my job.
Right.
Shame on you've had 10 years in your career to get to 6 figures or whatever number you're at. And you want to put 6 months on an idea to get you to a place where you're sitting comfortable that you've been working at for 10 years?
It's true.
How unfair is that? So much pressure.
We do it all the time.
We do it all the time, and then we say that the idea wasn't right or that the market wasn't right. No, the mindset was not right.
Yeah.
That mindset was not prepared to carry that vision.
Yeah. And when you work from a faith place, and when something it's so beautiful, like the outcome of it is so beautiful versus coming from a place of fear. Like, I'm telling you, coming from a place of faith, which means to me, for some reason, love keeps coming to my mind.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
1 Corinthians 13 kind of love. Like, when you come from that place, you're coming from like a place of just pure abundance, expecting the best always, not of just yourself, but of other people.
Yeah.
And even if you like go and read that 1 Corinthians 13 and you read what love is and how you're supposed to love other people, and then apply that to yourself.
Right.
How you're supposed to love yourself.
Yeah.
Like, always expecting the best of yourself, never keeping records of wrongdoing, because we keep track of our remember the last time I did that, it didn't work.
Good records, right?
We got great records on all of our failures.
Yep. And then we call people who remember the bad records to reinforce all the reasons why.
You remember what happened the last time you tried that, girl.
Sometimes we're making the wrong phone call. All right, so we want to move fear out of the driver's seat and put faith in the driver's seat. Number 1, Brandis, what are we doing?
I think number 1, putting an intention around it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there has to be something that you do every day to reinforce that. So on the Abundance podcast that you and I had done together, I talked about waking up in the morning and saying, I'm so happy and grateful for the fact that I blah, 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 like whatever that thing is. So I think setting intention around it and doing something that is a concrete evidence of that intention, like a gratitude statement.
I love that. A gratitude. It's so essential. It's so essential. I wake up in the morning and I say, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Yeah.
This is every morning, and I say it until I can get that head up off that pillow.
Yes. Yes.
And I got to get my muscles up. But that's one of my intentional statements. I think number 2 for me is to really know what it is that you want. I think a lot of times we know what we don't want. We can recite that. I don't want this kind of dude. I don't want this kind of life. I don't want to be poor. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be, in my winter body. I don't want, we know what we don't want, and we can tell people that so clearly, and we create groups around it, friendships around it.
Yeah.
But I tell you, when you start to locate what you want in your mind, body, and spirit, and all of those things align, it's a different type of living. It's a different type of feeling.
Yes.
It's a different type of connection.
Yes.
And it's a different type of value system.
Absolutely.
Because you're no longer being governed by the fear of the things that you don't want coming upon you. You're being governed by the faith in what you do want coming towards you.
Absolutely.
And I'm telling you, the magnetic connection, the blessing just being tied to the way that you see, what is it that you want?
Yes.
Do you know what you want?
Yeah.
Do you know and if it's too big for you, what do you want right now?
Yeah.
Then, what do you want tomorrow?
That's so
What
good.
do you want in July? What do you want? I write on my bathroom mirror. It looks like a beautiful mind in there. It is like... You're like, is this a trade class? What is this? What is all? But I write what I want.
Yeah.
I write on my mirror.
Yeah.
I write it with dry erase, ladies. You definitely want to use a dry erase marker. But I write on my mirror what I want. I write on there. And I change it. I want to feel this. I want to look her in the mirror.
Right.
Write it in your journal. Write it in your success planner. What do you want?
That's so good. I think number 3 is fill your space with things that reinforce faith being in the driver's seat. So what do I mean by that? What you listen to, what you watch, who you're around, what you're surrounded by, all of that. Because I'm telling you guys, like waking up to the news, which my husband loves to do in the morning, like the moment I hear the news, like I heard something this morning about these kids in these like immigrant detention camps that was like, it just... those things, and not that I want to shield myself from what's happening in the world, but I do believe that I should be able to control when I consume it.
Right.
And it's not what I want to consume first thing in the morning. So it's like, being so intentional about like, what are you listening to on the way to work? Are you listening to just the regular morning radio show, or are you listening to something that reinforces you having like putting faith in the driver's seat? Or what are you watching on television? Are you watching, something that reinforces scarcity and women who are fighting with each other? And, is that, or don't have enough, or people who, sharing the same person and all these things, like being very intentional about like what is in your space, what are you absorbing, is a great way to kick fear out of the driver's seat.
I love that. That's so good. I would say next would be to get rid of the people, places, and things that are not serving you. When I say rid, I don't mean go calling people saying this. You're not going to work anymore. We're done. But you have got to surround your success. You have got to surround, like you said, when you start being intentional about the things that are in your space, you have to also be willing to cut off and clean the weeds out and spring clean it. And I mean, that goes from your closet to your bathroom to your kitchen to your car.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to refresh the walls.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to change the color in your house. Maybe you need to get a new rug. Maybe you need to change your blinds out. Maybe you need to start wearing different colors.
Right.
Maybe you need to start going to brunch differently or not.
Right.
Or not.
Or not.
Maybe you need a new church home, or you need a new small group, or a different affinity group at work. Maybe you need to join an affinity group at work.
Right.
Maybe you need to start reinventing the space and being really intentional about getting rid of things that don't make sense in this season.
Absolutely. And
really nurturing this season with color, with texture, with activities, so that you can experience the burst of it. You can really get the energy out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the last thing is looking at 1 Corinthians 13. No matter what faith you are, I think you will grab something amazing from this particular scripture, because love drives out fear.
Absolutely.
And if you kind of understand like what love actually is and like really meditate on that, you really don't have room for fear.
No, I promise you, that is absolutely the truth.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. It's really helping me, Brandis, because I definitely have some things that I had to reset on. Like, okay, I got this. I can do this.
Absolutely. 1,000%.
Yeah, I got this. I can do this. And if other people have been able to do these things,
right,
then that's an example, a reinforcement to me that I too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, all right, great girlfriends.
All right, great girlfriends.
We are so grateful. Thank you for listening. Please don't forget to write your reviews on iTunes and make sure that you're telling your great girlfriends to listen in. And if you have a suggestion or a recommendation for a show, please email us, thegreatgirlfriends@gmail.com.
I think they're going to forward this one.
They gonna forward this one?
Girl, yeah.
Amen.
Everybody need this.
Amen. Well, forward it on, great girlfriends. Peace.
We could not end this podcast without thanking our amazing husbands.
Yes, thank you, Kwaku.
And thank you so much, Rich Daniel.
And our beautiful children, thank you, Sam and Dylan.
And thank you, Miss Sky Daniel.
And thank you to all of you, great girlfriends, for trusting us as your go-to source for everything life, love, and laughter.
You can check us out on our social, on Instagram,
The Great Girlfriends,
on Twitter,
_Great GFS,
and on Facebook,
The Great Girlfriends.
And please make sure that you join our Facebook group, which is over 16,000 women strong.
Absolutely. And make sure you listen every single Wednesday on iTunes, Spotify, Podcast Bean, Podcast Republic, Google Play, and every other podcasting service.
Absolutely.
Be sure to post your questions, share with your friends, keep listening, and keep being a great girlfriend. I'm Sybil.
And I'm Brandon.
And we're signing off.
Peace.
Peace.